It's time to start your morning by taking 5. Here's your host, Matt McMaster.
You're listening to Take 5, a quick 5-minute take on the biggest things happening in Nebraska sports. I'm your host, Matt McMaster. Today is the day. It is one of the biggest days in just the city of Omaha in terms of athletics. Both the Omaha Mavericks and the Creighton Bluejays are in the NCAA Tournament, and they are playing today, Thursday, March 20th. The first game of the day will be the Creighton Bluejays taking on the Louisville Cardinals, and then the third to last game of the day will be the Omaha Mavericks playing the St. John's Red Storm at 8:45. Let's break them down. Yesterday on the Gary and Matt show here on 1620 The Zone, we talked to Cards Chronicle writer Mike Rutherford about this upcoming matchup, and he brought some really good insight, and I agree with him. This game will come down to turnovers. Louisville likes to force turnovers. They like to go on the run. They like to play quick. In transition, they're looking for threes. They're a high-volume three-point shooting team. They shoot some of the most three-pointers in the entire country. They're averaging, I think, 31 points a game off of three-pointers alone, which is in the top 20 range. I mean, this is a three-point shooting team, and they are getting back their best three-point shooter in Rain Smith in today's game. He's been out for the last couple of contests with a high ankle sprain. So, we talked about the fact that Stephen Ashworth and Jemiah Neal need to be on their game. They need to make sure that they don't turn the ball over. Chucky Hepburn, Omaha's own, one of the best guard defenders in the country, being on Stephen Ashworth, who has had a massive load on him this entire year with not only just how many minutes a game that he's playing, but also the responsibilities that he's had. And I think in the last stretch of the season, sans the Butler game, you kind of saw that a little bit of fatigue set in, and the fact that he's just been beat up a lot this season. And so I think at first glance you think maybe this isn't the best matchup for the Creighton Bluejays. But when we started talking about Ryan Kalkbrenner with Mike Rutherford, there was almost a bit of fear in Rutherford's voice, because he is such a difference maker. Kalkbrenner is not only on the offensive end of the floor, but the defensive end of the floor. And when you start doing a little bit more digging, Louisville, while they shoot a lot of threes, while that is the bread and butter of their offense, they also are incredibly efficient in the paint. 57% is their field goal percentage with 2-point field goals this season. And it is also one of the better marks in the country. This team creates easy looks for themselves within the paint because they are so volume driven on the three-point line, and they're good at hitting their three-point shots. They hit plenty of three-point shots. They're not as efficient maybe as you would think they would be for how often they're shooting the three-pointers, but regardless, they create a lot of space inside the paint with how much they shoot the three-point ball. But at the same time, Ryan Kalkbrenner and his defense is going to pose a ton of problems for Louisville trying to get into the paint. And because number 11 is in that paint, it might be easier, and it could be a matchup advantage for Creighton when it comes to playing defense against Louisville, because how you beat Kalkbrenner and that drop defense that Creighton is so famous for is by taking mid-range shots. It's not a matter of fact that Louisville doesn't make their mid-range shots. Louisville doesn't take mid-range shots. Their shot chart is very much like your typical NBA analytical, every shot is in the paint or every shot is on the outside. And so while Creighton is going to have a lot of problems on the offensive end when it comes to just being hounded on the ball and trying to get into their sets, they're also going to have an advantage on the defensive end just because Ryan Kalkbrenner disrupts so much of what Louisville is trying to do within that paint. And I also do think you have to take in consideration Pat Kelsey, while a really good coach, because does not have the tournament experience that Greg McDermott has. So I think this game, like a lot of people anticipate, will be incredibly, incredibly close, and it will be about whether or not number 11 in blue can pull the Blue Jays over the finish line. We go to Omaha on their matchup against St. John's. Let's make no bones about it. It's an incredibly tough draw, not only just for Omaha, but for everybody. St. John's is so athletic. They are so big. They are so long. They are so well coached. The way this team plays defense, especially down the stretch, and the way that they can turn momentum of a game using their transition offense is nothing short of incredible. Also, when you factor in the fact they're playing in Providence, Rhode Island, man, that's tough. There's going to be a lot of St. John's fans in that arena tonight. But I do want to say this. Omaha didn't go there for two and a barbecue. Omaha isn't in Providence right now saying, oh, we're glad we're here. We're so happy for the experience. We'll remember for the rest of our lives. No. This team is there to win. This team is there to stay there and come back to Omaha, not tomorrow, but on Sunday after they punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. This team all season long has had the right attitude, whether it be in the non-con or whether it be in the Summit League play. Like, this team has just been wired different. They've won 18 of the last 21. Like, this team isn't going to roll over and lay down. And it's going to be an uphill battle, an incredibly tough matchup. And, man, you're going to have things really go your way, whether it be St. John's missing their three-pointers and free throws, and conversely, your own team, the Mavericks, having a Cinderella-type run from the three-point line. But crazier things have happened, and they're going to fight until the very, very dang end. So it should be an exciting day of basketball here in Nebraska. You've been listening to Take 5, and I've been your host, Matt McMaster.